Greetings, I'm Cornelius Monsoon Crawford, lead biologist for the Psi Sigma Company. Today I have been tasked to analyze a bizarre subclass of internet meme, the Wojak. Now the Wojak as a symbol has many political and social factors. However, since I'm a hard-headed man of science, I only care about the genetic links between Wojaks. I have chosen this image to portray my ultimate findings. Now due to the nature of memetics these findings will expand. But we will focus on that later on in this presentation. Due to the interconnected nature of the Wojak evolution tree, we will analyze Wojaks in tiers, these tiers being determined by how close the Wojak is to the original Wojak. Tier 1 Wojak, first originating on a German variant of 4chan, this Wojak is the genesis of all other Wojaks. This Wojak has the simplest design and broadest usage online. Every Wojak is a product of this base gene, but the genes of most other Wojaks are intersected by other Wojaks. From our research the other Wojaks in this tier are the most direct descendants, even if Wojaks in lower tiers technically appeared first. Crying Wojak is a Wojak which has uncontrollable tear ducts that leave its eyes bloodshot and almost blind. Sometimes it cries due to a genuine reason, other times the mere act of existing in the 21st century is just too much for it. Aside from being caricatures, Wojaks can be used to represent human emotions that we rarely show in our real lives. In the case of the crying Wojak, it is a representation of unadulterated grief. Acceptance Wojak is a Wojak that, wherever it ends up it accepts it. Even though this Wojak has no self-conviction towards any ideals, it doesn't care about its position. Acceptance Wojak could live in suburbia or a war zone, and it wouldn't impact the look in its eyes. Content Wojak is the twin to Acceptance Wojak. The difference is that, whereas the Acceptance Wojak can indeed feel misery, the Content Wojak can only feel happiness. He is an entity which has earned the envy of many Wojaks. Fat Wojak is a being of self-indulgence. It takes the world's recourses, and only gives back rot and disease. Fat Wojak is a being with no grander ideals or goals, it merely is. Wojak with the ear. This Wojak is a direct clone of the pure Wojak strand aside from the deformity of the ear. Some debate whether the ear has any advantages toward the Wojak, but in reality the ear only exists to make it unappealing to those who would want to place it in unappealing scenarios. Frontal Wojak. This is a Wojak who tried to venture into the third direction by physically turning around. Now it is locked in a state of melancholy, never being able to achieve its greatest desire. Happy Wojak is the complete inverse of the crying Wojak. It is both an unbreakable spirit and moral compass. And these two traits give it unyielding happiness. The happy Wojak is one of the only Wojaks that a person would want to become. It overcomes the mostly negative connotations these memes are linked to Yikes Wojak. The Yikes Wojak is a Wojak has so much controversial information it holds in its head, that on a physical level, they cannot share it. Their lips cannot separate, and their minds are in a perpetual state of yikes. If you had them write their knowledge down, you would never break past incoherent notes. Beta Uprising Wojak, a Wojak which represents the Beta Uprising of 1984. It involved the invasion of numerous Balkan states by a horde of beta males. They were only defeated by Russians who implemented the Sigma Grinset, an action now banned by the Geneva Convention. The Beta Uprising Wojak's motivations vary. Some are alphas who want to make sure nobody forgets about the monstrous betas, whereas others openly desire a second uprising. Smartjacks are beings plagued by their seemingly infinite IQs. If one was to get into the stock market, they would have a monopoly on the market within the century. The Smartjak is a being unplagued by mortal challenge. The ultimate torture to an entity with only one desire, intelligence stimulation. Soyjak, the most evil and callous entities, to be spawned from the Wojak gene. Their influence across the web makes many shiver in their timbers. It is said that when an enemy is portrayed as a Soyjak, it is said their soul is banished to the shadow realm. That is why taking that action in an argument is also banned by the Geneva Convention, unless the enemy is classed as cringe. Then you can unleash as much Soyjak as you want. This is only the first tier of Wojak, and we have only covered 10% of the diagram. It is safe to say, why the Psi Sigma Company hired me, the meme-obsessed support Monsoon, to take up this job. Classifying all Wojaks would kill even a peaked human. Join me next time, to delve into the second layer of Wojak.